And so it's like capturing those ideas really quickly. But then the more that you, for me, a great passion is research. So I research a lot of things. One of the things I like researching is corruption. And at the highest level, what is the criminal overworld doing? And that has led to, lots of interesting discoveries that are inspiring, right? And so at a corporate level, that leads to Gluckins and Magog cartels and, characters and Rupture Farms institutions that go into the universes. But they're inspired by real life stuff that if you do that, what I find is that they have if you say that I'm creating a company and a story, but then you're just in a shallow way developing it, it'll feel that way to the audience. But if you're saying, I'm creating a company and a story, and it's really based on the practices of Monsanto or cheap meat production for fast food companies, right? Then you've got a deep reservoir of stuff that anytime you're trying to solve future problems around that story or property, you can go actually research what these companies did or how they operated or what the lawsuits were. And you can get this really rich stuff that you never would have thought of, right? Like truth is stranger than fiction. So,
yeah, it is.
So you never would have thought of it, and you're like, oh man, that's just perfect. When you find out how diabolical things could get. One that I learned about recently, which is just off the charts, impossible to believe, but I think it's real. Is you got to look. I don't know if you know about the story of the Titanic.
Yeah, some of it.
The story, but that there was two identical ships made at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know how the Titanic was probably the one that didn't sink? What? So you got to check out this documentary. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, this is so ludicrous. I'm just going to watch this just because I think it's bullshit. And it turns out, J.P. Morgan and these guys were the investors in these ships, and they damaged it. And then the insurance company said, too bad, this was all your fault, so we're not covering the damage. And this is huge amounts of money. And it goes into show how they switched branding on the ships and tried to fake the damaging with an accident and basically screwed it up, and then the rest is the whitewash after. But if you know enough about how those entities were operating in those days, and then you watch this documentary, you go, that's exactly what those guys would have done. They operated this way as hidden policy, so it's just fascinating stuff, right? But truth is stranger than fiction. So who would dream that stuff up? And so it's great when you have insights into the criminal mastermind, or how intelligence agencies work, how multinational corporations supersede local environmental laws, whatever it is, right? The tactics are just mind blowing. And so if you're referencing that stuff, it's great fodder for comedy. Right.
Yeah.